Coping with stress in middle and late adolescence is a state of mental emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. This is response of individuals to stressors, which are circumstances and events that threaten them and tax their coping abilities. Research on stress and coping has focused on adults. Recent attention to the adolescence suggests there are development changes in coping during adolescence and that particular coping strategies vary with gender and the types of stressors adolescents experience. This study examined coping strategies used by male and female students in early, middle, and late adolescence when they were coping with two different types of stressors, daily hassles, and major life events. Older adolescents use a creative variety coping strategies and use methods that directly reduce the impact of the stressors and involve a cognitive component. Planful problem solving. To be an effective problem solving involves more than positive framework. You need a thoughtful, systematic way of dealing with problems. Set realistic goals, determine obstacles. Creative thinking for solutions. Compare pros cons. Carry out the solution as best as possible. Reappraisal. Finding something to be grateful about in a challenging situations. More often younger adolescents in all age groups varied their strategies in relation to the type of stressor, but there were no significant gender differences. Refers to the period of human growth that occurs between childhood and adulthood. Adolescence begins at around age 10 and ends around age 21. Adolescence can be broken into three stages: early adolescence, middle adolescence, and late adolescence. Each stage has its own characteristics. Let's take a look at each stage in more details. Early adolescence may feel invisible and start to engage in risky behaviors such as smoking and alcohol use. Early adolescence. This period is also characterized by sexual curiosity, which is usually expressed through admirations of celebrities, teens idols, and musicians. Relations with close friends become more important than family relationships. Early, adolescents start to realize that their parents are not infallible and begin to identify their own faults. This is also common for early adolescents to show acting out of behavior. Middle adolescence is the second stage and occurs from age 15 to 17. By this time, puberty has passed. Teens in this stage are extremely concerned with how they look, and they think others are concerned too. They spend a large amount of time grooming, exercising, and modifying their physical appearance. Early adolescence. Teens in middle adolescence may feel invisible. Risk-taking behavior are significantly increased during this stage. On the other hand, acting out behavior begin to decrease since teens in this stage have a better grasp on how to use words as a means of expression. How do these changes affect us? Consider the characteristics for each stage of adolescence. I have a question for each of the three stages. First, what aspects of this adolescent state do you think are challenging and why? For early adolescence, I think changing body characteristics and resisting talking part in risking behavior are challenging. Changing body characteristics can be uncomfortable and awkward to experience while resisting taking part in risky behavior, such as drinking or smoking, can impact how one's peer group thinks of them. What aspect of this adolescent stage do you think are exciting? Why? It's for late adolescents, developing a new and stronger bond with one's parents can be an exciting and eye-opening experience. The relationship that a late adolescent develops with their parents is much different from the childhood, early adolescence, and middle adolescence. As a result, late adolescents may develop a new appreciation and perspective of their parents, strengthening the child-parent bond. From an emotional standpoint, how do you think this adolescent stage affect the individual? I think middle adolescents often feel frustrated and angry as they attempt to assert their own independence. Parents' rules and restrictions that inhibit these assertions of independence can cause tension between parents and children and result in negative feelings toward parents. What aspect of this stage do you think is most important and why? For the early adolescent stage, I think the most important aspect is changes in the body, although not always a comfortable experience. These bodily changes are important for proper adult functioning from a physiological standpoint. Key facts. Globally, 1 is 7 to 10 to 19 years old. Experience a mental disorder accounting for 13% of the global burden of disease in this age group. Depression, anxiety, and behavioral disorders are among the leading causes of illness and disability among adolescents. Suicide is the fourth leading cause of death among 15 years old or to 19 years old. The consequences of failing to address adolescents' mental health condition extend to adulthood, impairing both physical and mental health and limiting opportunities to lead fulfilling lives as adults.